the whole mind, I feel happy. Feeling the whole mind, I feel healthy and well. And I'm here and practice meditation together. Right now, I know I'm practicing meditation for a Sangha today. Please open your eyes and put your hand together and bow together. Yes, now we would like to invite you to press the hand and put your right. We chanting together. The Dharma is deep and lovely. We now have a chance to see, study, and to practice. We want to realize its true meaning. The Buddha, the one of Buddha, the teacher is peaceful, noble, and spiritual leader. The teacher is worthy to be made offerings. The teacher understands and loves. The teacher has fully virtuous conduct inside. The teacher has attained perfect peaceful joy and deliverance. The teacher understands the world clearly. The teacher has the ability to subjugate people. The teacher forgoes and human beings. The teacher attained enlightenment and awakening completely. The teacher deserves to be best honored and respected by the world. The Dharma of the world, thus have been well proclaimed by himself, be very practical in the present, have value beyond time, has the ability to transform one's body and mind, has the ability to extinguish the development of greed, anger, illusion, arrogance, doubt, wrong will, etc. Taking refuge in the Dharma, an intellectual one who can also cultivate oneself master the Dharma. Come and hear, come and see, come and understand, come and practice, come and enjoy the flower and the fruits of peaceful joy and deliverance right here and right now in the present life. The Sangha bodies of the world means that the community is on the real good, true, honest, beautiful, and appropriate path. The community directs to the Buddha Dharma, practices the Buddha Dharma, and live correctly with the Buddha Dharma. In the noble community, there are those who are attaining the holy rules of extreme emperor, the one returner, and the non-returner, and that of arahants, comprises from various reasons holy people, accomplices all aspects of ethics, meditation, wisdom, deliverance, and deliverance with right understanding. This community deserves to be taken refuge, served, respected, honored, admired, and made offerings in the incomparable field of merit, good for the world to sow and to plant. The Dharma precept. The Dharma precept of the world, the discipline, Vinaya, Rima, Buddhism we have practiced, or the perfect precept body, or the never broken precept body, or the never polluted precept body, or the never spotted precept body, or the never mingled precept body, or the precept body created in the mind by intellectuals, and the precept bodies with the ability to retain freedom, and the precept bodies little earth to fearlessness, or the precept bodies little earth to right concentration, or the precept bodies little earth to decide, or the precept bodies little earth to deliverance and happiness forever. Dear disciples, tend to contemplating and practicing the oath for noble mental contemplation entirely. The lay followers who have the ability to put an end to cravings, ignorance, unhappiness, sorrow, and suffering, transfer of blessing of bliss, anger, delusion, etc. Go beyond the three evil realms of hell, hungry ghosts, and animals. Obtain happiness and great joy, build a paradise or build land around earth, and upon up many steady and right direction for life. Contemplation of bodies, mind, and karma. I am of the nature to grow old. I cannot escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. I cannot escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. All things are related and caused by my body action, verbal action, and mental action. I cannot let go of them, whether it's good karma or not good karma. Aware of this, good karma I continue upholding and developing, and good karma I try to recognize and transform. All relatives, loved ones, and things I cherish today are of the nature to change. There are no way to escape being separated from them. My actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the route on which I stand. Freedom of body and mind. This body is not mine. I am not witnessed by this body. I am an infinite life. I have never been born and also have never died. Look, see what the sky is. Densely numbered of stars. All are together manifested in me from the spiritual cross unconscious mind. From all life I am free. Birth and death are gateway in and out. They are the high and sick games. Smile together with me, breathe together with me, recite the word name together with me, practice meditation together with me. The heart sutra of inside the arena to the water soul. Avalokiteshvara. While practicing deeply with the inside the arena to the water soul, suddenly discovered that all of the five skandhas are equally empty. After this penetration, he overcame all new being. Listen, Sariputta. This body is self emptiness, and emptiness is self this body. This body is not other than emptiness. and emptiness is not other than this body. The same is true of feelings, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. Listen, Sariputta. All phenomena bear the mark of emptiness. The true nature is the nature of no birth, no death, no being, no non-being, no defilement, no immaculation, no increasing, no decreasing. That is what is an emptiness body. Feelings, perception, mental formation, and consciousness are not separate entities. The 18th realm of phenomena, the 6 sense organs, the 6 sense objects, and the 6 kind of consciousness are not separate entities. The travelings of interdependent horizon and their extinction are also not separate entities. You being, the causes of you being, the end of you being, the path, insight and attainment are also not separate entities. Whoever can see this no longer needs anything to attain. Bodhisattva who practice inside that rendered to other soul see no more obstacle in the mind. And because there are no more obstacles in the mind, they can overcome all fears, destroy all wrong perceptions, and realize perfectly phenomena. All Buddhas in the past, present, and future, by practicing the Sattva to other souls, are all capable of attaining authentic and perfect enlightenment. Therefore, Sariputta, it should be known that the inside that renewed to other soul is a great mantra, the most illuminated mantra, the highest mantra, a mantra beyond compare, the true wisdom that has the power to put an end to all kinds of suffering. Therefore, let us proclaim a mantra to praise inside that renewed to other soul. Gate gate bara samgate buddhi Hagate gate bara samgate buddhi Swaha gate bara samgate buddhi Swaha. The three refuges. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who showed me the words of love and kindness, compassion and wisdom in lifetime. Having taken refuge in the Buddha, I clearly see the path of life and beauty in life. Turning path and taking refuge in the Buddha and myself, I aspire to have all people soon recognize and develop their own enlightened nature. Namo Buddhaya, Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in the Dhamma, the words of practicing peace, joy, happiness, understanding, and love, all the many bright and present life. Having taken refuge in the Dhamma, I am learning and cultivating the Noble Eightfold Path with an intellectual life. Being comprised of right view, right talk, right speech, right action, right attitude, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Turning back and taking refuge in Dhamma myself, I aspire to have all people fully master the words of practice and walk together on the path of liberation. Namo Dhammaya Dhammang Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranam Gacchami. I take refuge in Sangha, the community of cultivated people who vow to live their life of ethics, harmonies, and awareness to themselves and to others right here and right now in the present life. Having taken refuge in Sangha, I am enlightened, instructed, and supported by the Sangha Buddhists on the ways of practice. Telling back and taking refuge in Sangha and myself, I aspire to have all people build performance community to embrace all means and support their transformation. Namo Sanghaya Sangham Saranam Gacchami Tutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Sharing the merits, reciting the trainings, practicing the ways of awareness, give right benefits without limits. We vow to share the fruits with all beings. We vow to offer tribute to parents, teachers, friends, and numerous beings who give guidance, support, love, and may the merits of this practice benefits all beings and bring peace. We, disciple of Gautama Buddha, are always aware of ourselves by day and by night, constantly practice and recollect the life of the Buddha. Namo Buddhaya. We, disciple of Gautama Buddha, are always aware of ourselves by day and by night, constantly practice and recollect the life of the Dhamma. Namo Dhammaya. We, disciple of Gautama Buddha, are always aware of ourselves by day and by night, constantly practice and recollect the life of the Sangha. Namo Sanghaya. May we be well, happy, and peaceful in the Dhamma. May we be free from suffering, desire, anger, delusion, hatred, and ignorance. May the Buddha and Bodhisattva bless and protect all anytime and anywhere. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Lan thai, lan thai, lan thai. Well done, well done, well done. Dear brother and sister, how are you today?
Good.
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm happy you are here today. I would like to introduce you first, brother Mr. Phap, sister Koija, and they come here practice maybe 1 year.
About a year.
Yeah, and they practice now. Very interesting. When we have time, we have schedule email, and brother and sister come and practice together. And then here she go, is a student of Phap Nhan Temple, and she become a nun. How many years?
Around 5 years.
Around 5 years. Become a nun. She's single. She's study MBA. And she want to become a nurse. She don't like. She doesn't like to get married, but she want to get married. Had to become a nun. And I would like to introduce my sister, brother. Is brother Hila. He's Dhamma name, a Buddhist name. Hila means joy and happiness.
Okay.
And how can he miss me? How can he miss me together? And I would like to invite you to say something about how can we meet together. And long time, maybe around 5 years, and keep in touch with together. And right now, sometimes he email and talk and text message. Right now, I would like to invite you say something.
Yeah. Tell you how we met. I was in Austin for a weekend. And I was hanging out in Austin with my friends and going to see the Blues at Continental Club. And I was on my way home. My first day, I was living in Grand Rapids, Michigan area. So my first flight was from Austin to Atlanta, and I've always been intrigued with Buddhism ever since college, right? And I just read some things in college about it, but I always was intrigued by it. So we were at the airport, and we're going through the line, and it was for security. And I saw him from the back. He was in front of me, but the line was snaking back on itself like this. And there was these two musicians in front of me that I had been talking with from South America, and I said, hey, would you guys mind if this guy doesn't mind? I'm going to ask him to get a picture with him, because I've always been intrigued with Buddhism. And if he, I'll be real respectful and ask him if I could just take a photo with him. And I said, sure. So I handed him my phone. And as I tapped Brother Sai on the shoulder, I said, pardon me, are you Buddhist? And he said, yes. I said, would you mind if I got a picture with you, right? He said, yes, that'd be fine, right? So, got a picture with him, so I'm like, oh, that's great, it's kind of cool. And it's funny because Austin has always been like my spiritual center for some reason. I've always been drawn here and met great people, and different things have happened. So, I get to my gate, and I'm sitting there doing my business thing, looking at my, my emails and whatnot, and all of a sudden, hello, Tate comes out, I'm like, whoa, he like sidled up, I was like, I didn't even see him, it was just all of a sudden there. He says, are you on the flight to Atlanta? I said, yes, I am. He said, perhaps we could sit together. I said, I'd love nothing more. Now I've got a captive audience. I can find out all my questions about Buddhism, right? So I was firing questions, and the only thing I had to write on was, a bag, the regurgitation bag. So I'm writing down all this, questions, all the answers to my question he was answering. And then he really freaked me out, because they said, well, we're getting ready to land now after all this big discussion. It's an hour-and-a-half flight, I think, from Austin to Atlanta, if I remember correctly. And we start landing, and he reaches over and he grabs my arm and he says, I will now give you your Buddhist name. And I'm like, what? You can't do that. I'm not ready for that. I'm like, I was flattered, I was shocked, and he looked at me, he said, you are Helak. I said, how do you spell that? So I had to write it down, capital H-Y, capital L-A-C, right? And I go, that's really flattering. I said, thank you. He said, yeah, it means peaceful joy. And I was like, this is way too much, and my mind was just blown, right? So I get back to work, and I'm working in Michigan, a small town. And by the way, Brother Hung Don says hello. So I'm sitting there, and I go, oh, I haven't talked to my monk. She's got to shoot him an email. So I shot him an email, and he writes back immediately, are you near West Olive, Michigan? I said, it's like 25 minutes up the road. And he writes back, I will have my assistant call you. Well, I'm at my desk. My phone rings, right? This guy says, hi, hello, Thomas. Yeah, he says, my name's Hung Don. I live in West Olive, and the master is here, and he's in town because he had made this wonderful book. He said to celebrate this thing, and he said he'd like to come over to your house tonight to visit with you and your wife and daughter. So I had to call my wife and say, honey, guess who's coming to dinner, right? And so she's like, what? I go, remember this?
Takes off.
Right? Right? And she says, what? I said, remember that I told you the story about the monk I took pictures of? I got to ask him all the questions. Yeah, I said, he turns out he's in West Olive, Michigan. He's up the street and he wants to come over, right? With this other guy. And she's like, well, what do I feed him? She's like, starts freaking out about, I go, I don't know, I think Buddhists drink green tea. There's some green tea in it. I said, make some green tea. I think they'll probably be fine, right? So she makes the green tea. They come over, we visited, we still have the pictures from that. And I met Hung, and it didn't stop there. It was just a phenomenal journey. Then we visited, and he goes back to Austin, whatever, and I'm working. When he came and did, it was like a month after that, I think, at a temple I didn't even know existed. Right? These temples are everywhere, and they're like here out in different areas. They're kind of remote. But happened to be 20 minutes from my house, so he comes out and does a guest a service out there. So I got to go out and see him, and he put me up on stage and made me tell the story again, which I was glad to do. It was a lot of fun. But that's how we met, and that's how I got here today.
That's great.
Yeah, isn't it? It's like one of the biggest things in my life. You know what I mean? It's like I tell people this, they're like, And they can't believe it. I'm like, yeah. And they go, it's amazing. I know. I go, now I have to live up to this HELAC name.
That's the interesting part about getting a new name.
Right? Yeah, now I have to live up to it.
That's
Right now, he email or text message my name HELAC. He don't use American name.
Yeah.
I like HELAC name is peaceful joy. Now I keep my heart. I keep this name in my heart. Now, thank you, brother here. And I would like to invite Mr. Park and Mr. Sister. And how can you meet me here? And how can you practice 1 year from now? Now, can you say something?
Oh, well, we were eating at a little restaurant.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say we can back up a little further.
Okay.
Park and I have been trying to find a spiritual home for both of us for a long time.
Awesome.
And I've been a practitioner of different types of spiritual meditation and meditation practices through the years, very extensively since I was in my early 20s.
Wow.
And so but he has always struggled with what he would like to do. But he always had an affinity towards Buddhism because he had spent some time in Thailand and he liked the Buddhist people and the culture. And so he got exposed to that when he was a young man as well, but never really understood how to adopt that as a way, a path.
Yeah.
And so, he said, we had tried through the years to try different churches, right? To go to different churches and he'd be like, no, this one's too Christian, I don't want to do Christian. And I was like, okay. And then, I'm like a world universal person. So I was like, whatever works for him, I will support him in that.
Nice.
And so, so that one didn't work. Then we went to one that was very intellectual, and that one didn't work for me, and apparently for him either. And so finally I said, look, wouldn't it be nice if we had a spiritual home together, and would you like to try that again? And he's like, yeah, okay. So we went to a service, and this very alternative church in Austin, which you can find here. And
Keep Austin weird.
And we left that and looked at each other and said, it's not right. We need to consider Buddhism. And I said, okay. So we were at this little restaurant, and we had gone to some festivals at the Thai temple down here. Okay. The Buddha Nawat. I can't remember. I'm not sure how you say it, but Buddha Nawat or something like that.
Yes.
So I said, well, let's go see why don't we go visit the Buddhist temple? Because we decided to have breakfast at this little restaurant out here off of 71 East. That sounded interesting. It's inside the library in this little town down Avondale.
Garfield.
Garfield. Yeah, so just
And
inside the Garfield
We
library.
actually Google mapped Buddhist temples, and this one came.
Right.
Nice.
We Google Maps. Well, we thought we were going to the Thai temple because we couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let's just go to this one. And so we drove up, and Park said, I don't know. I said, yeah, go in. Should we get out? And then they came out. Master Sai came out, and then came out. And he said, should we get out of the car? I said, yeah, we should get out of the car. Let's go in. So we got out of the car, we came in, and they said, hi, yes, would you like some tea? Yes, we'd love some tea. Sit down and have some tea. And so then it was like, okay. And then there was this invitation, come back again.
Awesome.
And we had gone to the Burmese temple. There's a Burmese Buddhist temple. Do you know that?
I didn't know.
It's amazing. It's off of 1826, which is southwest as well. And it's a beautiful little temple complex, Burmese. And we went there, and there was nobody. Nobody greeted us. And I was like, oh, okay, this is good. This is good. We've immediately felt welcome here.
That's great.
And it was just a nice connection.
Yeah.
So we've been coming back. and it's been so welcoming and wonderful.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and good-hearted.
Fantastic.
And so, yeah, so we've been practicing,
Okay.
and we're happy.
That's awesome.
Happy. And how are you?
Fine.
That's why brother and sister to come here, and when I have scheduled email to them, and they practice, brother and sister sometimes invite another person to come here practice together. Today you are here and practice together. We are very happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we would like to invite you to put your hand together and repeat after me. In the morning,
Morning.
do something wholesome.
Do something wholesome.
In the afternoon,
In the
And
afternoon.
do something wholesome.
do something wholesome.
In the evening,
In the evening,
do something wholesome.
do something wholesome.
We have a joyful day and night
Joyful day and night.
all together. In the morning,
In the morning.
say something wholesome.
Say something wholesome.
In the afternoon,
In the afternoon,
say something wholesome.
say something wholesome.
In the evening,
In the evening,
say something wholesome.
say something wholesome.
We have a joyful day and night.
Have a joyful day and night.
In the morning,
In the morning,
think about something wholesome.
Think about something wholesome.
In the afternoon,
In the afternoon.
think about something wholesome.
Think about something wholesome.
In the evening,
in the evening,
think about something wholesome.
Think about something wholesome.
We have a joyful day and night.
have a joyful day and
We
night.
have a joyful year and life.
Have a joyful year of life.
Namo,
Namo.
fully awakened
Awaken,
Buddhaya.
Buddhaya.
Namo, fully awakened Buddhaya. Namo, fully awakened Buddhaya. Namo, fully awakened Buddhaya. Now I would like to invite the Sangha to sing this song together. It's the end chanting, and we sing this song together and say the thing. Dear brother and sister, I would like to invite Sister Koika. Sing first now. Here now. Okay.
Okay,
And we sing together.
okay.
Yeah.
Here and
Now we practice together. Our happy lives we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. 1, 2, 3. Here and now we practice together. Our happy life we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. Now, please, brother, and now we practice together. Our happy lives we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. 1, 2, 3. Here and now we practice together. Our happy lives we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. Very simple. Now you brother here.
Here
And now we practice together. Our happy life we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. Now I would like to hear the whole sangha and sing and clap hand together.
Okay.
Okay. And sometimes see the Bible, sometimes look together. You can work the crowd on okay, it's better. Okay. Now here, put clap hand together. And now we practice together. Our happy life we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moments we live so happily. 1, 2, 3. Here and now we practice together. Our happy life we live in peace and joy. Body and mind we live in harmony. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. Present moments we live so happily. Are you happy?
Yes.
Okay, now we're Vietnamese. When Vietnamese come and all time you are together, sing together.
Yeah.
Look the paper here. Bây giờ đây ta tụ họp cùng nhau. 1, 2, 3. Bây giờ đây ta tụ họp cùng nhau. Một đời hạnh phúc ta an lạc thành thơi. Ta với tâm chân tình ta sống vui trong lòng hòa. Phút giây hiện tại ta sống nhau cho thật vui. Phút giây hiện tại ta sống nhau cho thật vui. 1, 2, 3. Bây giờ đây ta tụ họp cùng nhau. Một đời hạnh phúc ta an lạc thành thơi. Ta với tâm chân niệm ta sống vui trong luân hồi. Phút giây hiện tại ta sống nhau cho thật vui. Phút giây hiện tại ta sống nhau cho thật vui. Phút giây hiện tại ta sống nhau cho thật vui.
That was rugged.
Next time, if Vietnamese people here and American people here, every people here, I would like to invite our singer, Dama singer, sing together. Are you vui and happy today?
Yeah.
Now the activity today is finished. Now I would like to invite you to straighten your legs.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, we are very lucky to meet here and to practice meditation here. And right now, the Dhamma learning right now. And first, I would like to invite one by one read the Vesak message from the Secretary of the U.S. State.
Okay.
One, and the second, the Vesak message from Secretary General in the United Nations. Now, and the schedule for before I email to you, maybe you have a short time, and we say next time we study. But right now, only this. This May 20. This Buddha birthday. Buddha birthday ceremony on the Vesak day. I would like to invite you, if you have time, to come here and to enjoy the ceremony here. Another time, I would like to invite brother and sister who two of you. If you are here and reach one and sister, our brother is rich one, and another rich with me. Okay, another time we have a race event to invite all of the people come here. Okay, now I would like to invite you to read this first.
Okay.
And then this first, and then second you. Okay, rồi con mình mở cái list để cái máy. Chúc bình tĩnh sao?
It's a good thing she's got MBA in computer science. She's a technical person.
Được không? Rồi. And I would like to invite brother Hila to read.
Really like the Cosmo Rover.
Alright, April 27th, 2018. On behalf of the people of the United States of America, I extend our warmest wishes to all those celebrating Vesak. Is it Vesak? Vesak?
Vesak, yeah.
Vesak Day around the world. As Buddhist communities everywhere celebrate the life and teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, we pause to reflect on honor the universe values of peace, tolerance, and compassion the founder of Buddhism embodied. The United States is proud to host a vibrant and diverse Buddhist community as it joins Buddhists around the world in celebrating Vesak Day. Buddhism's spiritual and cultural contributions have enriched our shared human heritage over more than 2 millennia. We wish you all a joyous and peaceful Vesak.
Very nice.
Okay, very nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And another Vesak message. I would like to invite maybe brother, maybe sister, on behalf of our group, and to read another message, Vesak message.
Secretary General.
I thought you were going to read Vietnamese.
Right.
Towers. How long has he been our Secretary General?
Longer than Pompeo has been our
More than a week.
Go ahead.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests and friends. I am pleased to join you in celebrating Vesak. Vesak?
Yes.
A day that is sacred for millions of Buddhists around the world. As the President of the General Assembly just mentioned, we mark the birth, enlightenment, and passing of the Buddha. And on this occasion, Buddhists and non-Buddhists alike can reflect on his life and draw inspiration from his teachings. Born a prince, he rose above self-interest and went into the world to help overcome human suffering. His teachings are based on the principle that compassion is central to enlightenment. And as such, his message of service to others is more relevant than ever. The world faces numerous challenges, from conflict to climate change, from prejudice to growing inequality. We see people turning inwards, and we see a crisis of solidarity. The Buddha teachings can inspire us to become global citizens, and the focus in Buddhism on the inherent dignity of life finds resonance today in our 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The Buddhist worldview teaches us to see ourselves as a part of this world and not as its masters. And Buddhism's emphasis on nonviolence stands as a powerful call for peace. From peace to climate change to human rights, we see how much the teachings of the Buddha are so relevant in the work of the United Nations today. Now more than ever, Buddhist communities and all of us must give every day meaning to the Buddha's message of tolerance, empathy, and humanism. We must resist those who seek to twist a call for love into a cry for hate. And on this day of Vesak, let us renew our commitment to bridge differences, care for the most vulnerable, and truly leave no one behind us as we navigate the path to a better future for all.
That's awesome.
Hey, Buddhist future.
Right.
What do you think about leader, United Nations, UN leader, and U.S. Secretary of State.
Yeah.
And this the second person. First Vesak message.
Oh.
This is John Kerry last year.
John Kerry?
John Kerry
Started this?
Yes, Secretary of the State. Read the first letter. This second the birth second message.
Yeah.
Who have the political leader from United States, Americans who have a duty to write this. We are human beings. If we write, the Vesak message is normal, but the political leader writes is a means when the person have a duty from a government, they write one letter look like this is the stronger more than 1,000 people writing. Is correct?
Yes.
And that's why we read this letter. Now, what do you think about two leader, political leader, UN, national, United States nation, write this letter, and U.S. Secretary of State write this letter. What do you think about Buddhists in this country?
I'm very, very encouraged and very refreshed to see this come out of this administration because there's been so many negative things about it. It's good to see that the power of love and of Buddha is speaking through them. It's almost as if it was compelled by the power of Buddha for them to even say this. Frankly, it surprises me that the Secretary General actually said that, but I'm encouraged by that. I think it's excellent. Makes me feel a lot better about political views these days in this country. That's my take.
You know, last year or 2 years ago, first Barack Obama, president, wrote the Vesak message
Okay.
from U.S. president.
I remember that you sent it to me. Yeah, I remember
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And the second, this is first, only the first.
Yeah.
First, President Barack Obama. Second, John Kerry,
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State. And this first, right now, second. It's second letter. I mean, second person who wrote
From the government.
Yeah.
So Obama was the first to do that?
Right.
Ever?
Right.
In the history of
The 44 president
Right.
who have duty to write that letter, the Vesak message. And this letter, Secretary of State, second person, second letter. It's very interesting. And
Yes.
what do you think about
Very interesting.
when you read this letter?
What?
Which one? I thought that
Yeah.
the one for the Secretary General was very nice. And I thought that Pompeo